in the paint, open threes, and fast break points that highlighted glaring lapses in communication and defensive effort from LA. Final score, Bulls 146, Lakers 115. 146 points allowed in regulation, a clear sign of defensive breakdowns. LeBron's return overshadowed. His presence couldn't change the tide in this one. J.J. Redick calls it our worst defensive game all season. Head coach J.J. Redick didn't sugarcoat things after the game. Clearly frustrated, he called out his team's lackluster effort and intensity on defense, labeling the performance as the worst he's seen all year. That might be the worst our defense has looked all season, definitely in the last few months. They just moved better than us all night, Redick said post-game. Since Doncic's arrival, Redick had guided the Lakers to elite-level defense. But Saturday's loss exposed cracks that can't be ignored any longer. LeBron steps up and sends a message. While the loss was tough, LeBron James tried to keep the team focused on the bigger picture. After the game, he addressed the locker room, urging everyone to regroup and take control of their destiny before it's too late. They scored in the paint, hit transition shots, knocked down threes, and we let it all happen. We've got 12 games left. We can still avoid the play-in if we handle our business, LeBron said. LeBron knows better than anyone how costly the play-in can be, both physically and mentally, and he's making it clear, the time to lock in is now. Lakers still holding 4th seed. But the pressure is on. The Lakers currently sit in 4th place in the Western Conference, just 3 games ahead of the 7th-place Clippers. With the West packed with contenders and little margin for error, every game from here on out carries weight. Western Conference standings, 4th place. Led over 7th place, 3 games. Play-in risk, very real if the slide continues. What's next for the Lakers? With 12 regular season games remaining, the Lakers must fix their defensive woes quickly and recapture the form that made them a force just weeks ago. Their next test comes Monday night against the Orlando Magic, a must-win opportunity to bounce back and regain momentum. Key priorities moving forward. Sharpen defensive communication. Limit transition points. Stay consistent on offense. Protect their top 6 seed and avoid play-in pressure. If Redick and the team's veteran leaders, LeBron and Luka, can spark a turnaround, this loss could serve as the wake-up call the Lakers needed. But if the issues linger, it could be a rough road ahead. One thing's certain, the Lakers can't afford another night like this.